Welcome back to Access Channel Comics. I'm your host, Corey Banks, aka D Banks. And today what we're going to do is a quick review over Iron Fist. As you know, Iron Fist is on Netflix and it's up and streaming now. Catch these episodes. Me myself, whenever it comes to a Netflix series, I pretty much finish it in like 2 days. So that's why I'll probably wind up finishing it probably more than likely on tomorrow or Sunday. I've actually started watching it today. So far, I've caught 2 episodes, and I got to be honest about this series. So far, from what I'm feeling, so far so good. I know a lot about some of the reviews that happened with the show, and they were saying it was scored the lowest on Rotten Tomatoes ever. But me and a friend was talking about this, and my friend had a good point. He was like, it possibly could be the worst score ever, but are they talking about out of worst ever? Or they're talking about compared to certain other things. Like, for example, Marvel has done brilliant work, cinematically and on television. So are they talking about compared to other Marvel standards or overall worldwide? Me personally, they must be talking about compared to other Marvel standards. And that's not a bad thing. The show is pretty decent to me. I've caught the first episode. That's why I want to review a little bit. And, you know, Iron Fist, of course, is the story based off Danny Rand. This show has been getting a lot of controversy built around it. You know, a lot of people have a problem with the casting of the actor, not necessarily not liking the actor himself, but the casting because he's Caucasian. They wanted an Asian actor to play him, but newsflash people, there have been different Iron Fists, but the most recognizable one is Danny Rand. Danny Rand is a Caucasian. He's Caucasian in the comic books. He's been Caucasian in the animations and everything. I don't have a problem with that. I think the actor they chose is a very good actor to play him. And kicking off with the episode, he returns. You know, he pretty much returns from the dead. You know, like we've seen some other characters such as Bruce Wayne, Oliver Queen, Tony Stark. Those type of billionaires return back from the dead. And in a sense, because people thought they were dead. His backstory, his parents were on an airplane. And the airplane started losing control or whatever. He was strapped in, and but he got hit on the head with one of the objects. His mom, of course, being a mother, there's nothing wrong with that. Got him seat, and the dad wanted to get back in the seat, but the air, blew him away, and Danny was stuck in the plane. So he returns to the city, and a lot of people, the people he's met, his good friend, she doesn't believe him at first, but the sister, I'm still learning about Iron Fist myself. But the sister really doesn't believe that he's Danny. But she kind of has that feeling, that gut feeling that, he is. But she's more influenced by her older brother, Warren, who's really a jerk to Danny. Kind of like how Juggernaut was a jerk to Professor Xavier when they were kids, in a sense. But it's some pretty cool stuff going on in this. It's make you feel real deep for the character, psychologically, because people go through this. You got a lot of people in this world today that people don't listen to them, whether they're children, whether they're old people. People don't listen to them. They think they're just talking all out their head, but that's what they think he's going through. Put yourself in their shoes, because this is a guy just come from out of nowhere, but it's kind of like thinking like, okay, isn't this going on a little bit long? That's one of my gripes a little bit about the first episode, which kid's got to get a DNA test or something like that, or some type of thing. But other than that, I'm really enjoying the episode so far. Just wanted to do a little brief review of it. It's some good connections to Daredevil in it already. I really enjoyed they brought out the Hand, not physically where you can see the Hand, the group that was on Daredevil season 2, but Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, is a sworn enemy of the Hand. So you can see down the line where he'll be teaming up with Daredevil. Keep in mind with Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and the Defenders. But that's later on. But I think it's gotten off to a pretty good start. I think in this world today, we're all critics. Everyone's a critic. We beat up too hard on shows and movies sometimes, and you really can't afford to really do that, overcompensate with that. But it's got some good supporting characters in this. So I just wanted to talk about it a little bit. But make sure, just go ahead and start streaming it. We'll talk some more about Iron Fist later. I wanted to talk about another topic today, but make sure to catch Iron Fist. It's streaming now on Netflix. Take your time watching it. It's a cool thing about stuff like Netflix. You know, you can catch it pretty much at any time as long as you got access to it. Now, moving right along, we want to catch up something, go old school, that's on national TV, that's on regular television, and that's the CW. I want to talk about the DC Television Universe. That's the main focus today. I wanted to rank the DC Television Universe as far as the CW verse, the Arrowverse. Now, DC has tons of shows on. They're killing it, knocking out the ballpark. But I'm not going to necessarily be talking about the shows that's not on the CW. I'm not going to talk about iZombie. iZombie is Vertigo DC Comics. It's not necessarily in the same continuity with Arrow and all those, but still, it's Vertigo DC Comics. If they wanted the crossover, they could. They are on the CW in a sense. So it could be different people doing that show. I'm mainly talking about the main four. That is Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, and DC's Legends of Tomorrow. So I'm not talking about Powerless. I'm not talking about Lucifer. I'm not talking about Gotham. I'm not talking about Preacher. I'm not talking about the upcoming Black Lightning. Like I said, DC got some great television shows going on. They're holding it down. They even have more TV shows out than Marvel does. And Marvel's coming up big in Game 2, and that's great. I don't feel like it's oversaturated. I just love it. But anyway, let's get down to it. I wanted to rank these four shows in order. My order did change throughout the season. Keep in mind we're still in the current season of these shows. I'm going to go in reverse, starting with number 4 out of these 4 shows. Now, before I begin, coming in at number 4, if it was the first half of the season, this show would have been number 3. There were only 2 that would have swapped. So coming in number 4 for me is Supergirl. First half of the season, it would have been number 3. But I think it kind of slipped a little bit as far as not necessarily saying the writing was overall bad, but what they're doing with the characters kind of. And I feel like DC's Legends have really gone along. DC Legends continue to keep putting on the pace, but they've been consistent. Well, that's the cool thing about Legends. Let's focus on Supergirl. That's at number 4, which would have been number 3. First half season. I think Supergirl has done a very good job fitting in on the CW. It's better on the CW. It was fine on CBS, but not fine where, just leave it there. No, it's better on CW. Definitely fits that. They've been able to do more. They've done a great job with the budget. The supporting cast has come in of characters have been phenomenal, like Martian Manhunter, who's there and everything. It's just been great. Bringing in Dean Cain, Superman alumni Terry Hatcher is now joined and everything. Linda Carter, a lot of DC alums, a lot of characters now. I just really love the job. They borrowed some of Superman's storylines. Superman himself has been up there. She was part of the crossover, so it's fit really well. The problems I have with this is this. I want to be careful when I say this. Certain characters up there, they've given them too much time, and it's kind of taken away from Kara. This is Kara's show. And it's not to the point it's overall taken away from Kara. Take her sister. Her sister is a bit confused at times. She's in the relationship with the other female. Okay, they're gay, and that's their prerogative. The problem I have with it is this. Not necessarily them hooking up on the show. It's to the point they want it to be looked at as normal, but actually it's not because of the fact that they keep dwelling on it too much. All right, take Arrow, for example. Curtis, he's a gay character. Mr. Terrific. But they don't over-smother it and get sloppy with it with, the person he's with. They give a head nod to it. They talk. They show them together. And just like in past seasons, and they keep moving on and keep it normal. Just like a straight couple would. The problem with Kara's sister, and the relationship she's in, they smothers too much with it. I thought it was going to be that way with Guardian at first, but they've actually handled Guardian decently. They haven't overdone it. They've given him a little breather. They just showed him as Jimmy, and that's been pretty cool. But I really want them to get to the point where I don't mind them showing. I keep forgetting Kara's sister and Kara's sister and the relationship she's in. Don't over smother it with this. I mean, it's kind of like sometimes they have like 5-minute scenes, over 5-minute scenes. Try more of show them coming to a party together and people greet them, they greet people or whatever, and it goes on like a normal thing. That's the problem I have with it. They're over smothering us with it. What we need to be is focusing more on Kara and focusing on those villains and everything. I think they're still doing a good job on the show. I think they're doing a little too much of that. Other than that, I think it's fine, but it slid to my number 4. I think they need to focus a little bit more on the relationship with Kara and Mon-El. I think they can go to some places, and I think they really need to help Monel find his purpose also. And maybe this coming later. I like the episode with Mr. Mistleplik. That was pretty cool. And that's a cool thing. You know, I can borrow some of Superman's lines. Supergirl has some famous storylines, but similar to what it has done with Arrow borrowing storylines from Batman and stuff, understandable. They both have great storylines, but they're not as famous as, say, like Batman storylines or Superman's or the Flashes or something like that. But coming in at my number 3 is DC's Legends of Tomorrow. What can I say about the show? DC sometimes Legends of Tomorrow can be silly, but it fits it. It reminds you of those sci-fi Saturday shows as kids we used to watch, or shows back in the older days when our parents used to go to the cinema and watch certain things, or when they watch Star Trek or Star Trek The Next Generation. I remember coming off stuff like that. They're supposed to be kind of, at times, a little bit all over the place, but I like the fact that they pulled it back. They're not too much all over the place. That does something similar to Gotham. At one time, Gotham and Legends of Tomorrow was all over the place. They had it seem like about 8 storylines going on at one time. But now they condense it down to like 2 storylines in one episode, or just one, and that works a whole lot better where you can focus on that and you get that time. They've done a great job building the characters. You're learning more about the JSA and, you know, the Spear of Destiny and everything. It's pretty cool that now it's coming along how Ray figured out, also similar to Malcolm, about why Eobard Thawne was kept running. You know, he's a time remnant. So this is pretty interesting how they're doing that. I like how some of the JSA, they show them in different situations now in life. That's pretty cool. First time we've seen this week, Vixen, the JSA, learns about her granddaughter. Her granddaughter is the current modern day Vixen. The actress who plays her has something going on another show now. They may bring her back, and I hope they do, because she was phenomenal as Vixen. She was on Arrow last season when her and Arrow took on Damien Dark. We haven't seen her. It was the only episode we've seen her. They may have some plans for her to come back, but she learns about her granddaughter. They showed the pictures and everything, and she learns about the tough times that they had and how her granddaughter's holding it down and everything. And there's something to be said. There's a lot of great things you can do with Vixen. I enjoy both Vixens, and I've gotten used to the Vixen now, who is actually the grandmother, but I really want to see modern day Vixen. You know, so hopefully she'll be coming back. So it's pretty cool. I just enjoyed the storylines they've been doing with Legends of Tomorrow. So that's in my number 3. Now, of course, with the big 2. And for the past couple of seasons, The Flash now is in his 3rd season. Arrow's in his 5th season. Hands down, the last 2 seasons, The Flash has been the best DC television show over all the DC shows. And dare I say, arguably the best comic book show out, period, superhero show. This season, I got to put it at number 2. And with that said, that doesn't mean Flash is falling off or anything. Shows sometimes go that way as they've been out for kind of a while. This is in his 3rd season. We're seeing some of the same things from Flash. Not that it's boring as he's battling another speedster. We understand this is his thing. But it's kind of like, how many times we keep going back saying, Barry, go to the past, go to the future. Some of the best episodes this season when they brought the 2-part episode, Gorilla City was great. Great to bring Harrison Wells from Earth 2 back and everything like that. Sometimes it can get a little bit convoluted with so many flashes, but they do know how to dial it back. But I would say, to me, the storyline they had in season 1, to me, was better than this season right here. Understand they couldn't go over and do an overall Flashpoint, like the comic book or the animation or whatever, because these are episodes. But however, that doesn't mean this season has been a slouch. The season has been great. And I look forward to see where more it goes. I was wondering when Flash was kind of go out of my mind and where it's no longer number 1 for me as a superhero show. To me right now, it's 2nd, especially at CW Verse. I would even say probably 2nd overall in the comic book shows. Flash has just been so fantastic. I think it's kind of going down a similar road Arrow did, not come completely total. The difference is Arrow showed just season 3 and season 4 just kind of went into slumps. It was nowhere near a season 1, season 2 level. Flash is to the point of, I think what everybody's wanting to see something new with the Flash now. I think maybe next season, maybe not have a speedster as the big baddie. I mean, I would love to see them bring someone like Mirror Master back, him actually have the suit this time, and doing some special stuff or whatever. Great visual villain. And it kind of makes me wonder, will they bring him to the cinematic universe when that time comes? But that's for another topic at another time. Number one, coming in at number one is Arrow. The Arrow, the Green Arrow. What can I say about this show? This show has done something that is unprecedented. This show has done something that you've seen shows, very few shows can do. And that's come back big time. You go back to the history of televisions, understandable when shows have been out for a while, they're going to wane some. You're going to have your great seasons, your good seasons, and your mess seasons, your bad seasons. Think about some of the shows that was out on history, such as like Cheers, ER. Those shows was out for a long time. Some other great shows, sometimes their popularity kind of waned, but they come back in a huge way. Arrow has done that. Arrow, the first episode of the season, people watched. It wasn't very, very huge numbers, but people started learning Arrow, started getting back on track. By the time of the 4-night crossover, which was kind of in a way 3 nights, but the 4-night crossover, it was reported that Arrow's audience more than doubled and got his fans back. People tend to forget, a couple of years ago, people was actually acknowledging Arrow as the greatest superhero show ever. Now, would I say ever? Not going to go overall and say that. There's been some other great ones. But then again, I would say that. There was only one that I would probably put above it, and that's Smallville. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the Incredible Hulk back in the day, all that. Some of that stuff doesn't hold up, but I thought about it. Break it down. Writing, action, storylines, all that. Arrow has that. Season 1 and Season 2 are some of the best works ever in television. Season 3 and 4, I do understand the direction that they went. They were trying something different. The character was growing. It's just like in real life. Sometimes we have a great life. We get into some stuff we shouldn't get into, maybe some crazy stuff. I think what the studios did was hear this. Same thing with Warner Brothers going through now with the cinematic universe. This is a story for another time, but they hear the fans. And this is the way of saying, we hear you, we're going to get back on track. Same thing with DC Rebirth. That's what Jeff Johns was basically saying. And there's nothing wrong with that. I commend any studio and any artist who does that. Stick with your stuff, but understandable when it's just not hitting anymore. And this season of Arrow has just been phenomenal. Season 5 is definitely right up there with Season 1 and Season 2. I still say overall Season 2 is the best season of Arrow so far, because Deathstroke was the best and coolest villain. The way he just had the whole thing laid out. Prometheus is kind of reminding you of that, but he's cunning. He's intelligent, but I wouldn't put him over Deathstroke. At least not yet, at least. But it's just been great. Prometheus has been a very good villain. Still waiting to find out who Vigilante is. We found out Prometheus with Adrian Chase, but that is a cover-up also by that. So it's just been consistent writing. The characters, the supporting characters have shined. They've done some great jobs. Characters like Ragman will be back. Some of those actors got other projects going on, working on films and other shows. They've even had recently news sparked up on Arrow that they gave a special offer to a former star of Arrow to actually come back and make some appearances. Who do you think it would be? Do you think it would be Manny Bennett Deathstroke? Do you think it would be forgetting her name. Oh my goodness, she's one of my favorites. The Huntress, yes. Do you think it would be Huntress? Do you think it will be Oliver's stepdad? Do you think it will be Nisa? I'm thinking more of Nisa because Talia's there now. Nisa is more honorable than Talia. She really takes more after Ra's. Ra's could be evil. Ra's could be very hard. But Ra's al Ghul's honorable. That's the difference between Ra's. Ra's tell you anytime, just like on Batman on the Red Hood, he should never align himself with a psychopath. We were talking about the Joker at that time. And he would, like Oliver said, would be ashamed to learn that Talia has aligned herself with Prometheus. Bottom line. So it's very interesting, but the writing on Arrow, the storylines, the action, the cinematography, the budget, they've done a great job. Just like with a lot of these DC shows, they've done a fabulous job this season with these shows, and Arrow coming in for me at number 1. To me right now, out of all the comic book shows, and this is saying a lot, I'm talking about just not CW verse of DC Comics. I'm not just talking about other DC shows. I'm talking about even with the Marvel shows, The Walking Dead. I have enjoyed Arrow this season right here more than any of the other shows. I haven't really enjoyed Arrow this much since Season 1 and Season 2. Because keep in mind, when Arrow first came out, The only other comic book show, I'm not guaranteeing it, but the only other comic book show that was probably on was The Walking Dead. Because keep in mind, Smallville had ended. I want to say Smallville ended in 2010, or was it 2011? 2012 was latest, but I want to say it was 2010 or 2011. People was wondering what was going to be the next thing, because superhero stuff has been back in effect, movies and stuff. Then they made an announcement that a show is going to be coming based off Green Arrow. And Smallville is so legendary. Smallville is still the greatest, superhero sci-fi show probably ever. And that ran for so long and stuff. It had its ups and downs, but still great. Arrow came out. Arrow did something what Iron Man did with Marvel Studios. Started something new. All of these superhero shows, comic book shows now really owe a debt to Arrow. Because Arrow showed you could put a character in a suit and it just be so cool. Could think about it. They didn't put Clark in the suit until the very last episode of Smallville. Even though Superman and Green Arrow suits are different, still putting them in a suit. On The Walking Dead, they're not wearing suits. There's a difference, you know what I'm saying? So, but I gotta say, this season, I've enjoyed Arrow even more. I have The Walking Dead. That says a lot for me. Walking Dead this season has been a little bit slower, but I do understand it. The pace is picking it now. They're going somewhere with it. But I really enjoyed Arrow more than any other shows, and I like a lot of the superhero shows. Today I was mainly focusing on those 4. But what is your top superhero show? First off, what is your top superhero show on the CW? Out of the DC television universe, the CW verse, the Arrowverse, what order would you put those 4 in? What is your top show out of all superhero shows? I'm talking about whether you're talking about on CW, Netflix, FX, ABC, or any of the superhero shows that's on AMC or whatever like that. There are so many great ones. NBC, any of those. You can name them any order you want to. Put your comments at the bottom. Also, click that subscribe button. That's right. Click it. Do whatever you got to do. Keep this show going. Also, subscribe. Also, go on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, Access Channel Comments, and our social page, Access Channel Comments Unlimited. Also, follow me at the Banks 26 on Twitter. So we'd love to be bringing some more flavor back to you. We'll be watching some more Iron Fist, Netflix, going to cover over some more of that. There is so much going on in the cinematic world of superheroes, the television world, animation, video games, so much more. So there's some great stuff. So make sure you look it up. Stay tuned and everything. This is Corey Banks about to sign off and Access Channel Comments. Just remember, myself and we here acknowledge there are many, there are few, but there are none like you. Peace out.